Hey there, I'm Wayne Carson. I'm a solar energy advisor with Ethical Energy right here in the Pittsburgh area. I actually put this explainer together because, I sit at kitchen tables all over the metro area and I just keep having the exact same conversation. Homeowners are genuinely interested in solar, but they feel like they haven't been given the full picture. Honestly, they've been pitched to, not educated. So today, we're going to look at the unvarnished truth about solar leases. We're looking at the good, the fine print, the trade-offs, literally the whole shebang, warts and all. By the time we're done here, you're going to know way more about this agreement than most people who have already signed one. Okay, let's just quickly look at the roadmap for today's explainer so you know exactly what we're covering. Absolutely no hidden pitches here, just the facts in this exact order. We're going to start with what's happening to the power grid, look at our partnership with Penn State, and then do a fully transparent teardown of the actual IGS solar lease contract itself, covering guarantees, what happens if you sell your home, and of course, your right to cancel. All right, Section 1, the PA grid capacity crisis and exactly why your electric bill is climbing. So my background is actually in commercial real estate and structured finance. Because of that, I frame energy decisions the exact same way I'd frame any capital or infrastructure decision, with hard data and long-term thinking. Before we even touch on solar, we have to talk about why this conversation even matters right now. The reality, Pennsylvania's electric grid literally no longer generates enough power during peak evening demand hours to meet what households and businesses are pulling from it. Early evening when everybody gets home from work at the exact same time and turns everything on. This isn't a completely new problem, but the gap between what the grid produces and what we all actually need is getting worse, and it's happening a lot faster than most people realize. Well, when local production falls short, utility companies can't just flip a magic switch to get more juice. They have to go to these regional capacity auctions run by PJM Interconnection. It's kind of like if every school district in your county ran out of textbooks at the exact same time and they all showed up to the exact same book sale to buy more. The price of those books is going to skyrocket, right? That's exactly what utilities across 13 states are doing just to keep their grids stable. And here's the kicker. These capacity charges are already structurally approved through the auction process. That means gradual, guaranteed rate hikes are fully locked in for the next several years for Duquesne Light and West Penn Power customers. It's not a maybe, it's a structural cost increase heading right for your bill. Moving on to Section 2, the Penn State Partnership, touching on institutional credibility and sound engineering. Look, let's be real. The solar industry kinda has a sketchy reputation sometimes. Maybe you've had someone knock on your door, push really hard, and make the whole thing feel like a used car dealership. That reputation exists for a reason, which is exactly why this specific on-site generation program is fundamentally different. Penn State University, literally a 150-year-old institution with its own massive engineering and energy research programs, reviewed what was happening with Pennsylvania's grid and residential energy costs. They partnered with our on-site generation program because they champion real engineering solutions over sales hype. They wouldn't risk their reputation on a flimsy sales pitch. They partnered with us because homes have to pass strict engineering qualifications first. We're talking roof geometry, shading analysis, structural integrity. Not every home qualifies, and honestly, that's exactly how it should be. All right, Section 3, the IGS solar lease. We're going to do a transparent teardown of the actual contract. When we look right at the first page of the residential solar equipment lease agreement, the actual line items are all laid out. Installation, $0. Monitoring, $0. Maintenance, design, and solar system insurance, all $0. And crucially, there is no lien put on your property. See, under a lease, IGS Solar actually owns the equipment. They install it, they insure it, they repair it. You are simply leasing the use of the equipment, and you own all the electricity it produces. It's that simple. Now, let's be totally honest about the trade-off here, because every homeowner absolutely deserves to understand this. The federal investment tax credit, which is currently 30% of the total system cost, goes to IGS Solar, not to you. That is exactly how the $0 model functions. They take the tax credit, and in exchange, you get a fully insured, warranted system with literally zero barrier to entry. If you were to purchase a system outright, say for $20,000 to $40,000, sure, you'd get that tax credit, but you'd also have to put up all that capital up front and pay for your own maintenance over the years. So, when people hear about a 25-year term, they almost always think it's some kind of trap. And yeah, it is a long time, but let's reframe that for a second. With this agreement, you're locking in a monthly payment against a utility rate that is rapidly accelerating. Actually, think of it as a hedge. Just like a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage protects you from rising rent, a solar lease protects you from rising utility costs. Doing nothing? Well, that just means you are guaranteed to pay tens of thousands of dollars to your utility company over the next 2 decades. And just like renting, you're building absolutely zero equity. Now, as a homeowner, you do have some basic common sense responsibilities outlined in Section 4 of the contract. You can't use the system to heat a pool, you need to provide internet access so the system can be monitored, and you obviously need to notify them if you suspect any damage. But I really want to hammer home that first point. You absolutely gotta keep your trees and shrubs trimmed so they don't shade the panels. This is crucial, guys, because shading from new foliage that you just let grow wild can completely void your production guarantee. Okay, Section 4, the 85% production guarantee. This is your contractual safety net. Under Exhibit 3, IGS literally guarantees in writing that your system will produce at least 85% of its estimated cumulative generation over the term of the lease. This gets evaluated at the end of the first 24 months, and then every 12 months after that. If the system drops the ball and doesn't hit that guaranteed output, IGS calculates a credit based on your actual lease payment and applies it directly to your account. It's a real, legally binding safety net. Now, in Exhibit 2, the contract does bake in a standard 0.5% annual panel degradation rate, which, is totally normal for all solar technology. The production targets step down slightly each year to account for it. And they're completely honest about the exclusions. If a crazy weather event happens, or if you intentionally cause damage, or, like we just talked about, if you let untrimmed trees cast huge shadows over your roof, the guarantee isn't going to cover that. Every exclusion basically connects back to something that is reasonably within your control. Section 5, selling your home options, and the flexibility you have if you decide to move. This brings us to the absolute biggest question I get sitting at the kitchen table. Wayne, what happens if my family decides to sell this house before the 25 years are up? So the vital point here is that you have 3 distinct written options if you sell your home. Option 1, you can transfer the lease entirely to the new buyer, assuming they pass IGS credit approval. Option 2, you can prepay the remaining lease payments at a discount in one lump sum. This means the new owner inherits the system and gets all that solar power with literally 0 monthly payments. Pretty sweet deal for a buyer. Or option 3, if you sell after year 5, you can just purchase the system outright and include it as an asset in the home sale. Looking directly at Section 12 of the agreement, it states super clearly that on or after the 5-year anniversary, you can buy the system at the greater of the minimum purchase price or fair market value. The cool part? That fair market value is determined by an independent appraiser, and IGS actually pays for the cost of that appraisal. This gives you tons of flexibility to transform the system into a permanent asset for your home value whenever it makes sense for you financially. So what happens at the end of the 25 years? Well, you're never left in a gray zone. You can renew, you can choose not to renew, and IGS will actually come out, remove the system at no cost, and repair your roof penetrations. If you just do nothing, it auto-renews annually. And here is a really awesome bonus option written right into Section 15. If IGS decides it's not worth spending the money to remove the old system, they'll notify you in writing, and the entire system transfers to you completely for free as is. Every single path forward is cleanly defined. And finally, Section 6, your right to cancel, the ultimate safety net. You literally have 7 full business days to cancel this contract. If you sign it and then go home, talk to your spouse, and feel a bit uncertain, you have an entire week to change your mind. 0 penalty and absolutely no questions asked. The contract literally provides the notice of cancellation form right inside it in Exhibit 1. You just sign it, send it off to their Ohio address, or email it in, and boom, the contract is voided. I absolutely love that this is included up front because it proves there is 0 risk to just taking the time you need to think the whole thing over. The fact that you're going through this explainer with me tells me you're the kind of homeowner who actually does their homework. You really want to understand what you're getting into. And because of that, I promise you, I will never use countdown timers, and I'll never tell you that spots are limited just to pressure you into a signature. Good decisions simply do not require artificial urgency. So, if you want to find out if your specific roof and energy usage actually qualify for this program based on real engineering criteria, just reach out to me directly. We can have a conversation at whatever pace makes sense for you and your family. I'm going to leave you with this one thought. Are you going to keep renting your power on a grid that is structurally guaranteed to cost you more every single year? Or are you ready to take control of your own energy future?